Hello, everyone, and welcome to the first ever ZAPCon. My name is Joni Klippert. I am the CEO and co-founder of StackHawk. StackHawk is all about putting DAST assessment technology in the hands of software engineers, helping them find and fix application security bugs before they deploy to production. When we founded the company, we needed a scanning capability that worked for modern web applications. It needed to be easy to automate. It needed API security, and we picked Zap because it was best in class for those capabilities. We also loved that it had a really rich open source community. After Simon Bennett, the founder of Zap, who you're going to hear from very shortly, joined our team, and as we became closer to the open source community, we wanted to do our part and bring the community the first ever ZAPCon. We hope you enjoy. So today's conference is all about open source Zap. And the content is going to center around how you can take advantage of these capabilities with open source Zap in your organization. Before we launch into programming, I want to take a moment and recognize the more than 10 years of work that Simon and the core contributors of Zap have put into this project that we all know and love. This team works incredibly hard, mostly in their free time, to give this community a best-in-class DAST scanning capability. They're also the ones answering all of your questions, maybe late at night in the Zap user groups. So if we could take a minute and just give them a virtual round of applause or a shout out in Discord, I'm sure they would really appreciate it. Thank you all so much for your hard work on Zap all of these years. We really appreciate you. So when we decided to host this conference, it was a complete experiment. My planning document literally said mini ZAPCon. And I'm thrilled that in less than 2 months, more than 1,700 of you have registered for this conference. We have attendees from 57 countries spanning every continent except for Antarctica. And this is very clearly a user conference. We have 71.7, almost 72% of you who are current Zap users. And I've also been excited to see, as people join the Discord channel, new users or students or Zap curious people signing up today so that they can learn more about Zap and how they can scan their application for security bugs. We think that it's awesome that you're here to learn today. I'm also really excited to see that while 60% of you are from a security discipline, which is certainly no surprise, 40% of you come from the engineering organization. We've got folks in DevOps, software engineering, and QA. And I think it's so great that engineers are looking to learn more about how to shore up the security of their applications. So whether you're a student and you're learning about Zap, or you're someone seeking an advanced automation use case, we hope that you find great value in today's sessions. So before I pass off to Simon, just a few housekeeping items. Definitely join the conversation in Discord. There's a clickable link in the reminder email from the conference if you haven't joined already. We're going to have channels for every session, and we hope that you'll find value in connecting with your peers throughout the course of the conference and take the conversation beyond the conference. All of the sessions are pre-recorded. However, the speakers are going to be available in Discord throughout their sessions. And we're going to have a live Q&A with our speakers right after their session ends. So definitely stay tuned for that and engage with them in real time, asking them questions about their talk. And also note there's going to be regular breaks between sessions. So you'll have time to take care of whatever you need to take care of throughout the day. Here is our schedule. We hope you enjoy the content. We have got everything from announcements by Simon about roadmap and new features that are going to be available in Zap. We have great use cases of how specific companies are using Zap within their organization and a handful of technical deep dives for you to learn more about how to make the most out of Zap. If you want to reference the schedule, go ahead and go to ZAPCon.io and you'll be able to see all of the sessions there as well. So without further ado, I want to welcome Simon Bennett, the founder and project leader of Zap and distinguished engineer at StackHawk. He's going to give us some more opening remarks. Take it away, Simon.
Thank you, Joni, and thank you to everyone at Stackhawk who's worked so hard putting this conference together. It really wouldn't have happened without all of their hard work. I also want to thank the core team again, especially Ricardo and Rick, who have been working on ZAP with me for many years now. Some people seem to think that ZAP is my project. It is not my project. It belongs to everybody who's contributed to ZAP. And some of the rest of the core team are a bit more shy than I am, so I tend to take a lot of the limelight, but I definitely don't do all the work. So there's a lot of people who have put a lot of effort into making ZAP what it is today. But ZAP has been around for over 10 years now. So it actually came about because of a failed penetration test. I was leading a small Java development team, and we spent 2 years developing an online service. We knew it's security critical, so wanted to have a pen test to show that we'd got everything right. That didn't quite give us to plan. There was a whole, it was a car crash. It was not good at all. And I must admit, I felt pretty down after that. But I decided that it was a good time to take stock and make sure that that didn't happen again. Came up with a plan. I would learn a bit more about security. I would add, find a tool and add security, automated security tests to make sure that would run every night to make sure that we pick up security vulnerabilities as soon as possible. But I also wanted to get involved in open source. So I decided that if I could find an open source web security tool, then I could use that to learn more about security. I could include that in our build environment, and I could then contribute to that. That didn't quite work out as planned either, because at that time, there were no open source web security tools that were being actively maintained. So to cut a long story short, I ended up actually creating the project that I was looking for. That has been, it's been an incredible journey for me. I got approached by Mozilla and I got a job there, and that gave me the chance to spend more time working on ZAP. Over the years, things have changed a lot. So I want to point out things like the first Google Summer of Code projects. We've had a lot of, over the years, a lot of students have worked on ZAP, and they've added real benefit, some huge features. We've actually got a student hall of fame on the ZAP website. So if you're interested to see what other students working on ZAP have done, then please have a look at that. In 2015, we actually planned to, we said we're going to start something called ZAP as a service. That's one of the kind of failures, I think, of the ZAP team, or myself in particular. I think that proved to be too ambitious. I underestimated how much work was involved in creating something like that, and overestimated the time I'd have available. In 2016, we started getting serious about automation. That had always been a focus. ZAP was a tool I wanted to use for automation myself on my own projects before I ended up working on it full time. But the Docker images, when we created those, made a huge difference and made it so much easier for everybody to use ZAP when automating security tests. But the really big change for me has come in 2020, when Stackhawk offered me the chance to join them and spend so much more of my time working on the ZAP open source project and helping them build an enterprise-grade software as a service offering on top of ZAP, something that we'd wanted to do before that we haven't been able to do. So why use Dast at all? One thing I want to make sure that everyone's aware is that there are no silver bullets in this industry. So Dast is not going to solve all of your security problems. You should be using technologies like SAST, software static analysis, and SCA, software composition analysis, all good things like that. But I do think if you're new to security, then Dast is the best place to start. That's how your applications will be attacked. And if they're online, that's how they're being attacked right now. So Dast is really, it's the attacker's view, where tools like ZAP are acting as the attacker, but making sure that you get to find the vulnerabilities before that they do. There are a lot of advantages to Dast. You're actually testing a real running system, but you can do that before it's deployed. And you can test the whole system, not just individual components. You get much less noise from Dast than you do from tools like SAST, and the findings are much more actionable. That means you can focus on the real exploitable issues and don't have to worry so much about all the other things that you want to get to, but you know you don't have time to immediately. We actually find it's really hard to get feedback on how people and companies use open source projects like Zap. We get things like download stats and start pings, but it's very difficult to tell who's actually using Zap and how they're using it. However, we do believe that Zap is the most frequently used web application scanner, and that includes all of the commercial ones as well. We stated that publicly before, and none of our competitors have challenged it, so it must be true. We do know anecdotally that some of the biggest companies in the world are using Zap. And we know there are lots of companies like StackOrg who are building commercial enterprise-grade solutions on top of it. But we do actually want to hear from you. We're going to be featuring a load of Zap success stories on zaproxy.org. So if you'd like to be included in that, then please get in touch with me. Before we get started, I want to say a big thank you to all of the speakers. We had loads of talks submitted, and it was really difficult choosing them. I haven't actually had a chance to view the talks beforehand either, so these are going to be new to me, and I'm really looking forward to them. Abe, I know, and he always gives really great talks, but I love the idea of using DSLs with Zap. That's just a great idea, and I want to see where that can go. Ankush and Milan, this one's really interesting for me because I've never actually used Zap to test mobile applications. It's a bit of a mission, I must admit, but it's just not something I've been involved in, not something I've had to do. So I'm really keen to see what Zap can do and how the best way to use it with mobile apps. I'm also really looking forward to the talk from Mohammed and Salman. As I said before, we don't get to find out how people are using Zap. So I'm really excited to hear how Zap is used in an organization, why it was chosen over commercial tools, and how they've integrated it into their pipeline and got it to work with third-party tools. And Khaled's talk, I just love the idea of feedback-based fuzzing and people building tools on top of Zap in general. I asked, is one of those technologies that I've not played with either, partly because there are no open source tools around, or there weren't any until very recently. So I'm very interested in seeing how Zap can play in this space and how it can be used in this kind of environment. And so, last but not least, I'd like to thank you all for joining us on this journey. And please join the ZAPCon Discord server. The link should be in your registration reminder, email, or you can type that in right now.